why is it that I do somewhat, but why should I have to get the walking to get the tikkuan when I can do it from sitting?
Yeah, because you can't sit long enough.
3 hours, I'll push it to 5 eventually.
Yeah, but then, a day has 24 hours. Yeah. So, we want to practice to get some results. We want to have at least 10 hours of practice. 12 hours is normal.
But when I walk normally,
when
I'm not on the Jogum path, I also have my 50.
Yes, that is perfectly fine, but it's not meditation. Lungda says very, very clearly, what meditation, what practice is. Walking Chongkrom and sitting in Samadhi. That is practice. So for him there were 2 positions. You can do standing as well. 3 positions. Standing, sitting and walking. And where you have your focus on one thing, on the Buddha. And that you do when you walk Chongkrom. You have it on Buddha or you have it on the breath, wherever. If you walk around, it's good, if you have sati, but Lungda very clearly says that's not practice. Has nothing to do with practice.
But because the walking is longer, that's why longer than sitting. But if somebody sits for for a very long time, is that okay? And then when you sit for a very long time, you want to walk. Because everything hurts, and then you want to walk. If you walk, then just, if you are a better sitter like me, and then just walk for an hour or 2 hours, and then sit again, sit again for 3 or 4 hours, and then walk again for 1 or 2 hours. But, from the moment you have taken your food, you should start. First start with walking meditation until the next day. You have nothing to do else. You want to get results. If you don't press hard enough, you won't get results. You have 10 hours, put together in the full day. It's like 5 hours sleep.
16 hours. When I came to Bantat, I practiced 18 hours a day. Yeah.
4 hours sleep and then maybe
2 or 3 hours sleep, and that. Yeah. When I went out for eating, I could practice 16 hours, but when I was fasting, I could practice 18 hours. That's extreme. But normally 14 hours or 16 hours, that's the thing where things are going. Yeah. And it's the same thing, if the longer you do one session, be it sitting session or walking session, the deeper the results or the better the results. If you stop too often, and then start again, you don't get the same results. You stay even. Huh? Huh? A question that we should ask ourselves very often is, why do we practice? Why do we want to practice? When we started practicing, we had something in mind. Where is that goal gone? We wanted people, of dissatisfaction. It's mostly dukkha, We are dissatisfied with our practice. And that's why we come. We're dissatisfied with our life. That's why we come to practice. Or some people might have a higher goal. When we ordain, we want to overcome dukkha. We want to get out of the cycle of dukkha. So, then we should consider that as our work, as our most important thing. Practice is the most important thing. Everything else is in that respect a distraction. Even reading. Listening to talks is the exception. Because listening to talks, you can also go into deep samadhi.
If you listen to Dhamma that comes from the heart, I mean, that is the perfect thing. Yeah? If you're restless, for instance, and you can't concentrate very well, then just listen to a talk, and just listen to the words popping up in your heart. And that leads very easily to samadhi. I think I told you the story. I mean, it was before I came there. There was an older person, in Pantat. Lungta normally after the morning, after having his meal, he gave a talk. And one time, this person, this older villager, he just listened, and suddenly was gone. He was in deep samadhi. I mean, when Lungta was finishing his talk, I mean, this person was still sitting in deep samadhi, and they couldn't wake him up, so they had to carry him back to the village. So I mean, it's easy to get into. So if you're not concentrate very well, then just listen to talks. It's not a waste of time. You don't want to understand the meaning. You don't want to figure out what he says. If you don't understand something, then just skip over it. And if you understand something, it will work within you. Some of Lungta's talks, I mean, when you're at a certain point of practice, and when he talks about this, while you listen to it, I mean, Panya actually comes out, and works around and looks at your own condition, to see, if you can find that point, what he's talking about. And we don't really have to put any effort into it. And if you don't understand, just listen to the words popping up. I mean, learning the language of the heart, I often talk about it. That is how you understand. That is how you understand not the words and the meaning of the word, but you understand the intention. The intention of animals, the intention of people are all the same language. Luang Pu Man called it the language of the heart. And there you can learn it. It's not easy. I agree with that, but you can learn it. Just listen to the heart, whenever you hear something, and even if people talking about a completely different subject, you will understand what they intend to. So there will be no miscommunication. Because you can answer to their needs of their heart, not to what they're saying. Talking about, having fun in the city, but actually, telling you they are really lonely. People don't, they don't know their true intention. But if you listen, we can know them. So let's come back. I mean, what is the reason? And we have to put that in mind, or we have to keep that in mind all the time. What is the reason why we ordained? What is the reason why we came to practice? Are we seriously interested in overcoming dukkha? Are we seriously, in not being born again? Are we seriously interested to find the path out of dukkha? That means the first step, the step of Sotapanna or the stream entry. If we are really interested in that, then remind yourself. I mean, as long as you're not there, don't stop practicing. And if you're not there, practice as hard as you can. You just want to make that go. It's not impossible for us to achieve this goal. But we need much more effort, much more determination, much more effort. The kilesas, the moment we make up a determination, the kilesas instantly come, no, I need to do this, no, I need to do that. I mean, that's just counterproductive. I mean, we have to focus on one thing. First we focus on samadhi, and then we focus on investigation. While we're doing investigation, we rest our citta in samadhi. If we are not apt in samadhi, or if we are not fluent in samadhi, if we can't reach samadhi easily, I mean, then in the beginning of our practice we have to train it until our mind can stay in the calm for 15 to 20 minutes. That's mostly, for most of our tasks, that is sufficient. If we cannot stay there, I mean, we have to train it. I mean, without being able to concentrate the mind on one object, I mean, our investigation will not bring fruit. So why are we here? Do we want to be reborn again? I mean, find something. Find a motive that really motivates you. I mean, it might be for each person, might be something different. And don't say, I can't do it, I'm still at the beginning. And that doesn't hold. We came here, with a reason, Something led us to this place. So, I mean, our heart led us to this place, even if we didn't know it. Because there was something that we wanted to do. Don't forget that. I mean, we don't know what is our next birth like. Maybe we go to hell first, or maybe we go to heaven. But even when we are up in heaven, I mean, the next thing is we go down to hell. And when we are finished with our time in hell, then we go back up to heaven. Or sometimes spend it in the world of hungry ghosts, or in the animal realm. But when Lungta talked about his previous lives, he said most of the time, he just spent some time in heaven and then fell down into hell. And then once his time was finished, in hell, he came back up to heaven. And only once in a while, he was reborn as a human being, just to create enough good and bad karma to go for the next lives into heaven and hell. Is that what you want? Ask yourself very clearly. Is that what you really want? We don't know what kind of karma we have. I mean, it is a mountain that is unknown to us, and only part of this karma is revealed in this life. I mean, we don't know what is in store for us in our next life. Might be good karma, might be bad karma. And we don't even know when we are going to be reborn, is there the Dhamma there in our next life? Do we have the opportunity to listen to Dhamma? Do we have the opportunity to practice Dhamma? Maybe you are not. Maybe we were born as slaves, in a civilization, that does no religion or just, praise to all these gods, like we used to do 2,000 years ago in Europe. The god of storm, the god of wind, the god of things. I mean, is that the place, where we want to be? I mean, you do have to find a motivation to really get some results. And that's the same thing holds true, now we become monks, and then we suddenly, that's a comfortable life, okay. And then we reduce our practice. We get more and more comfortable because actually, all the stress that we had in the world, from working, from looking after this and for looking after that, I mean, it's gone, we just feel complacent. Complacency is one of the big dangers, of practice. We really should get going. If we have a goal, we really should get going. I mean, we are not like students going to university, and say, whenever I finish, I will finish. And then drag it on and drag it on and drag it on. Just like this practice, drag it on for this life, that life, next life, and, the other lives. I mean, it's not the first life we practice. If it would be the first life we practice, we wouldn't sit here. If it would be our first life, we would be only reading books. Trying to understand what the Lord Buddha taught. And not seeping it in. Even in the next life, in the second life, we would still read books, and discuss things. In the third life still, before we come down to practice. So that means, we have spent quite a few lives practicing already. That's what our heart attracts us to these places. But now make the most of it. And don't idle your time away just because it's so nice and pleasant. Be concerned. I mean, the only thing that you should be concerned is, am I practicing enough? Am I practicing enough? No. I mean, the moment we have sati, we see that we idle our time away. If we don't have sati enough, if our sati is not enough, we do not idle away. Because then we see, where did this last hour go? What did I do? I didn't do anything. It was not to my benefit. Okay, from now on I start practicing them.
practicing more. Yeah? When you were in Bantat, Luang Tao always called it the forest university. I mean, at the university you're free to do. You're free to select your subject then. You're free to do your courses on your own. I mean, you can sit first and then walk. In other places like the high school or the primary school, I mean, they tell you, okay, now is 1 hour walking, now is 1 hour sitting, then is 1 hour walking, and then there's a break, and then there's another hour of sitting, and then there's another hour of walking. I mean, this is not university. I mean, Luang Tao left it up completely to the individual. How he designs his schedule. I mean, does he want to sit 3 hours? Okay, then sit 3 hours. If he wants to sit through the night, then he sits through the night. I mean, he has a completely opportunity because the korvat or because the duties in the monastery were kept to a minimum. I mean, he always said, I try to keep this to the absolute minimum. Taking care of the monastery, sweeping and cleaning up, taking care of our ropes and bolts. I mean, there were fixed time where we were allowed to do it. I mean, washing ropes you couldn't do it every day. I mean, there was a day before the Patimokkha, before the recitation of the rules. That was the day where you could wash your robes. At other times, if Luang Tao caught you, I mean, he told you off. Now it's not the time to wash your robes. It's time to sit and practice. The same thing, if you went down, to have a hot drink. Now it's not the time to talk. It's the time to drink your coffee. And then once you finish drinking your coffee or whatever you drink, I mean, go back to the kuti and practice. Not only this, but he went through the monastery 3 times a day, checking on each kuti when he was still young. Checking on each kuti, what is this monk doing, what is that monk doing, what is that monk doing. If he caught a monk, 3 times when he went to his kuti, not being there, I mean, he said, you might leave now, because you're not practicing. The same thing, I mean, if he saw a monk, how long have you been here? If he saw that his practice was not going to progress anymore, I've been here 5 weeks. That's long enough, you can go now. Even if it was 10 years, it's long enough, you can go now. I mean, he had only one interest. Luang Tao had only one interest, and that's why it's so hard to find a teacher like him. He had only one interest for his students, to get as fast as possible to Nibbana. And everything that will disturb this kind of work, he didn't allow. He didn't allow building anything. He didn't allow enlarging the sala, because that noise would disturb the monks in their practice. He didn't allow any extensive, duties. Even, looking after him, he kept to a minimum. I mean, he wasn't interested about his own, what he could do. I mean, he could use all the monks, for his publicity, but he didn't do it. He even kicked the people out, who did something for him. Because that was not what they're supposed to do. They were only supposed to practice. Not doing this and not doing that. Keep that in mind. So, I mean, his emphasis was really on practice, and practice just meant sitting meditation and walking meditation. Overcoming the hindrances of our practice is the first aim. So if we give in to the hindrances by reading this and by reading that, by the way, Luang Tao never allowed, to have a library. He didn't encourage the monks to read. He said, what's the use of reading? Sit down and experience it for yourself. But that, of course, only monks were allowed, to enter his monastery who had a basic background in the teaching, and all what they needed to do is put that basic background into practice. That's why it's understandable. For others, who have not that background yet, I mean, they couldn't stay at a place like this. Why do we read? Because most of the time because we are bored. Sometimes because we want to know something. Then it's okay. And you're just reading because this is interesting and that interesting, I mean, that's not going to be of any use to us. That just makes our diversion, just enlarges the kilesas or makes the kilesas stronger. Because then it's not only reading. The next time, you're writing your diaries. Huh? Oh, what did I experience today? What did I experience today? You write it down, and then the next thing comes, and then the next thing comes, and in the end you will realize, I practice only 1 hour, 2 hours a day. Huh? That's certainly not enough. The practice will progress, if you practice at least 10 to 12 hours a day. Because when we practice 10 to 12 hours a day, the kilesas certainly will have a hold of us. They will certainly come and disrupt us. So we have to deal with these disruptions. We have to analyze them. No. I'm not with my Buddha. Or I'm not with my object of investigation. So that's not good. It's the same thing. Having 10 hours or 12 hours of practice, or even 14 hours and 16 hours, it really gets good. You really progress. You can even see the speed. The more, it's the same thing. The more we have sati, the better our progress. The more we try to practice and overcome the hindrance, also the faster our progress. You want to stall, and see this and see that, eat this and eat that, try this out or try that out. That's not practice. That's just following the kilesas who want this and want that. They don't want the Buddha, they don't want the object of investigation, and they don't want the breath. Because it's boring. For them, it is boring. They tell you it's boring and you believe it. Actually, boring is just lack of interest. We are not interested in our Buddha. We are not interested in the breath, or we are not interested. We just like to think about this. When I do this, when I do that, maybe the results will be good, and then you try it for 5 minutes. No, the result is not good. That's not practicing. Practicing is, determining, okay, now I sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, or walk for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or 5 hours, and then I'm only on my object of meditation. That is practice. Be it the object of investigation, be it the breath, or be it the Buddha, or be it the combination of Buddha and the breath, it's perfectly fine. We have to have a reference point, otherwise we swim. Otherwise we go in circles. If we have a reference point, we instantly know when we went out, when we get off the path. If we don't have a reference point, and the reference point is always our Buddha or the object of investigation. So before you sit down, make very clear, determine, this is my object of investigation and I will not deviate. Or this is my object of calm and I will not deviate from this object. Whatever comes in is now. For the next 2 hours, it's just the kilesa. That's how we understand. After a while you will understand the power of the kilesas, and you will understand the manifold of the kilesas if you do it like this, if you have a point of reference. If you don't have a point of reference, that, yes, my sati, then read the story, of Lungta, when he did that. He said his practice developed, and then the next time, he deteriorated. Then it developed again, and then it deteriorated. Because he had no reference point. So then he saw it, that's not going to work. Then he put in a reference point, and the reference point for him was Buddha. So I will not deviate from the Buddha. So he glued the sati to the Buddha. And then he told us, that was hell. He wasn't willing. And if you know the character of Lungta Mahabua, when he said he wasn't willing, he did not give in to the kilesas. The first day. And he said that was hell. The second day, it became light already. The third day it became. Because sati grew. If the moment you give in to a thought, the moment you give in to a memory, the moment you give in doing this or doing that, That is the work of the kilesas. You will give them power, you will give them energy. And you will never get still. Only if you sit down and say, no way. Or if you do it for the whole day, no way, I'm not going to deviate from my Buddha, whatever may come. I mean, he told us, even if I die on the spot, I will not deviate from the Buddha. It's better to die with the Buddha than to die defeated by the kilesas. That's the kind of practice. And that's the kind of practice that brought results. I mean, within 9 years of practice, he reached arahantship. That's something. I mean, if it's too strict for us, we can level it down a little bit according to our circumstances. Yeah? And instead of 9 years, maybe take 10, 20 years. But that still means, a lot of effort. That still means, at least 14 hours a day of practice. It doesn't mean, 14 hours being in a monastery. No, we really have to stick with our point of reference. Always know what we are doing. The moment we deviate, we know we are deviating. The moment the thought comes in, we know a thought comes in. That's developing sati. Without this, how do we know? The kilesas always eat us up. Now this, now let's go to the toilet. Now let's go, and rest a little bit. Yeah? And they've eaten us up already. No. If you're really determined, no. Now it's the time of our practice, and I will not deviate from my Buddha, because now it's time of calm. I want to rest my mind. Or now I want to investigate the brain. Yeah? So my object is only brain. Or my object is only hair of the head, or hair of the body, or nail, or teeth, or whatever, or skin. And only, when you do investigation, only think about it or visualize it. Just like I told you last time. You have to visualize the object until you can really cut it down, or think about it. What happens to it? Huh? Think about, when you have the image of your brain in front of you, okay, just put some fire on it. What happens to it? We think the brain is us. Because we come from the West, there's only the brain and the heart. But the brain does all the functions. So what happens, if we sizzle the brain? If we barbecue the brain? We still sit there, we see just how the brain sizzles or is barbecued, and what kind of feeling is it? In the beginning we don't want to, because we think it's us. Like I told you the last time, put these things out of you. Put your toenails and your fingernails and put them all in front of you. Put them on a heap, throw them on a heap, or put them orderly, whatever you want. Until there's no part of the body left on the seat and everything is in front of your eyes. Do that until, it clicks, until there's understanding, the chitta and the body are two different things. As long as it doesn't click, you still have to do it. It's the same with investigation. As long as it doesn't click, you still have to do it. Even if you get a small insight, it hasn't clicked yet. When it's clicked, you will know it that it's clicked. You will really see it, pops. The insight comes up. Yes, it's really true. You see the body in front of you, and you just see, and all what is left is the chitta sitting on the cushion or on the asana, on your sitting cloth. That's the insight we need. This will cut down the third fetter. The first fetter is doubt. Doubt that this will work. Doubt that I am ready. Doubt that, I can make it. Doubt that there is heaven, that there is hell. Doubt that there is a next life or a previous life. This doubt, most of the people coming from the West, they will never overcome their doubt. Doubting that the Lord Buddha was right. Doubting that this is right. Maybe now I'm special, I need a special treatment. There's no special people. There are people, who have this kind of characteristic, and there are other people who have another kind of characteristic, but they are no special people in this sense. There are only people, with a different nuance of the kilesas. No? The kilesas are all the same. The moment we see the kilesas, let's get rid of them. But the thought, I'm special, I need this kind of treatment, I'm special, I need that kind of treatment, that is just the affairs of the kilesas. There's nothing. It's not Dhamma. Dhamma just knows, knows that I have to stick to my object of reference or point of reference. So, Dhamma just knows. So go in. Don't make excuses. No, I'm too young. No, I've just started practicing. I cannot do it. You don't even know how many lives you have already practiced it. And if you start your practice and really do it, you can advance faster than the rest of us. And some people will be slow, some people will be fast. And it depends on what they have done in their previous lives. No? It doesn't mean that we are all, experienced in the ways of practice, in the same way. Some people it will take longer to understand, other people it will take shorter to understand. So, the moment you give in to these doubts, maybe not this life, next life. You're finished. You're in the grip of the kilesas that throw you from one life to the next. In the next life, you might not even remember. Just like in this life, you do not remember that you have practiced in your last life and what was your aim in your last life. So don't think tomorrow is better. That is always tomorrow is not better. If today is not good. If today is good, and the next moment is better, then tomorrow might be better. Next life will be better. Next life, I will become this and this and this, and then just practice. Huh? When you're born, you forget all your good intentions. Huh? Because then you're still, under the sway of the kilesas, still under the sway of greed and hate. People have different characteristics. Some people, like to sit. Other people like to walk. That's the only thing. Or some people might even like to stand, doing standing meditation. Some people are fast, other people are slow. But the practice is the same thing for every one of us. Do practice normally for us, doing the practice of samadhi and doing the practice of investigation. Investigation of the body until it clicks, until there is no more body to investigate. That's the second fetter. For us as bhikkhus, or lay people who live in the monastery, this second fetter might not be that strong. Keeping our sila, keeping our 5 precepts, or when you're in the monastery, keeping the 8 precepts, when we are monk, keeping the 227 rules. Just stick to it. The second fetter is also known as fiddling with these precepts. What does it mean? It means you hold it one time, you say, yes, I keep the precepts. Huh? And the next moment there's something interesting coming up. Just one time, I will not keep the precept. And then after a while, you say, no, I want to keep the precept. And then you don't keep the precepts. And then you want to keep the precept. That is the second fetter. Once you say, now from now on, I keep the 5 precepts or 8 precepts or the precepts of a monk, that's fixed. So then there is no fiddling. That will not crush you, because always giving in to the kilesas, I know it's against the rules, but I really need it. Huh? Giving in to the kilesas makes you weaker and makes the kilesas stronger. That's why it's called a fetter. Huh? Just keep it. That's the easiest way. Huh? For doubt, just don't say, if you don't know, just say I don't know. But don't say, no, it doesn't exist. Heaven doesn't exist. Hell doesn't exist. Karma doesn't exist. Results of karma doesn't exist. I mean, we might not know, okay? Give the benefit of the doubt. Say, okay, I don't know if devas exist, but, I don't disbelieve it. I might not believe it, but I don't disbelieve it. That the Lord Buddha existed or not existed, it's the same thing. That the Dhamma teaching is correct or not correct, it's the same thing. Just don't give in to the doubt. Actually, that the Dhamma teachings of the Lord Buddha still exist intact, I mean, it is shown here in Thailand, where so many people are, where, according to, or compared to others, so many people attained arahantship in the last 100 years. They attained to the last goal. I mean, how can that teaching be not intact if they reach that goal? They are not special, they are just made out of the same substances. They are made out of the 5 khandhas. The khandha of the body, of feeling, of memory, thoughts, and consciousness. So, I mean, where's the difference? And they all have the same enemy, the kilesas. For some people, the kilesas of this sort of greed are more stronger, and for other people, the kilesas of hate are more stronger. So we have to deal with them. But the kilesas are kilesas. I mean, the kilesas are the fangs of avijja. Remember that. They are just the fangs. Avijja is the one who directs them to do this or do that. I mean, so when you when you compare it, I mean, you can look in front of you and you see balloons that are not inflated, but they have have an inscription. One is called greed, another is called as hate, another is called delusion, another called as fear, And then the kilesas, all what avijja does is, tells the kilesas to blow up the balloon hate. Wow, it's big. It's really big. And then what we have to do is see, I mean, that just the kilesas blew up that balloon hate, and then we put a needle in it and it's finished. Oh, then in the next time, when you overcome the hate, then, they will blow up balloon greed. Or then they blow up the balloon of delusion, or of fear, or of whatever. I mean, they're just empty balloons, I mean, the kilesas is all what they do is blow some air into it and then, oh wow, this is so big I cannot overcome this. The same thing with boredom, the same thing with anything, any kind of hindrances. I mean, they just write on your forehead, greed, anger. So investigate that feeling. What is the feeling? What is the experience of anger? What is the experience of greed? How does the experience of greed differ from the experience of hate? How does the feeling of fear differ from the feeling of anger? Just go into, and really scrutinize it, really examine it. I mean, what is the basic feeling? Once you accept fear, or once you accept anger, I mean, feel it until you understand the feeling of it. There's nothing to run away. Anyway, we cannot run away. That's only what the kilesas tell us. I mean, we can distract ourselves. The method of the kilesas is just to distract ourselves. I mean, if there is the balloon of anger, I mean, then we say, if you eat this or if you eat that, or if you do this or do that, then everything will be fine. So the balloon, they take out the air from the balloon anger and put it into greed, or put it into this or into that, into sleepiness, into tiredness, into sloth and torpor, or whatever. There is no such thing as these things. But in order to understand it, we have to investigate. We have to see the nature of it. What is anger? I mean, don't push it down. I mean, it will display in every facet. I mean, accept it. And the first time you accept it, I mean, you will think you will die. Because it's so strong. And then just look at it, observe it, and then it becomes lighter and lighter. And then see where is this anger coming from. The same thing for greed. Where is this strong greed? I really have to have this. I really have to do this. And just sit down silently, press your hands on your knees and says, "No, I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to sit." And then sometimes it can happen, that this greed or anger is instantly gone. Sometimes it happens that you can see it. Don't suppress it, please, please. It's the worst thing. You think there is no anger within you anymore, but everybody else can sense it. You think there is no more greed in you, and everybody else can sense it. Everybody else sees it. The way you eat, it displays, it displays your greed or it displays your anger. The way you walk, it displays all these things. The motivation why you walk or how you walk, what you do and how you do it, it all displays, all these things come through. But you yourself make yourself believe that it's not there, and then you are really in trouble. And you will not progress. There's nothing worse than not accepting one of one's characteristics, no matter how bad they are. Even if some evil thought comes in, accept it. There is an evil thought. I don't have to be that evil thought. No, I'm a good person. I'm a Buddhist, I cannot have this thought. That thought just appeared. How can you not have it, But you can be relieved because it is not your thought. It has nothing to do with you. It's just like you turn on the TV. You have nothing to do with the program. That's all. It might be a comedy, it might be a drama, or it might be a horror, or it just might be news. You don't have nothing to do with the program. So you have nothing to do with these thoughts. You have nothing to do with these memories. Don't think them they are yours. They are mine, or they are, that are me. Nothing. Neither this body is you. The body even doesn't know if it's a body. Who knows that it's a body? Who knows it's a feeling? Does the feeling know it's a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling? Who decides it's a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling? Who decides that? Get to know that. Get into it. Get really deep into it. That feeling that just arose. It's a feeling, that doesn't even know. And it's just like we turn on the TV. If you don't understand the difference between drama and comedy and news, we just would stare at some pixels flaring up. Some light points flaring up on the screen and have not the slightest idea what is that. And that's the same thing. The moment we put a meaning to it, okay, now it becomes a problem. It becomes either the problem or it becomes the object of greed or hate, or whatever. So, these things are not mine. There's just a thought. I'm not good, nor am I evil. I just observe what is coming into my mind. Once I can observe it, but once I can accept it, I can investigate it. What's the source? Where is it coming from? And the deeper we can go, the more we can uproot it. It's just like cutting a tree full of leaves. First of all, we take the leaves off so that we can see the branches. Once we can see the branches, we can cut down the branches, until we come to the stem of the tree. And then we slowly cut the stem of the tree and until it's so small that we can uproot it. That's the same thing. Our practice is just like that. It goes from very shallow to very deep. Once the inside is deep enough, it will uproot. Once the inside the nature of the body is deep enough, we can uproot it. We can uproot greed and hate. Why is greed and hate in the same class? When we look at it, it's called the fetter of greed and hate. Because in the end, it turns out to be just the same thing. To long after something, or to hate something, to be aggravated against something, it's just the same movement of the heart. It pushes something away, or it wants to attach it to something. Greed and hate are one fetter. I was talking about the first three fetters. The fetter of doubt, the fetter of not keeping the precepts. Or one time keeping it and the next time not keeping it, then keeping it again and then not keeping it. And that the fetter of the body is not self. That the chitta and the body are two different things. Just like we know, the driver of the car and the car are two different things. They are completely different materials. I mean, the body cannot do anything without the chitta. I mean, if the chitta goes into Appana Samadhi, I mean, it's not interested about this body anymore. I mean, you can do anything with the body, or other people can do anything with this body without even noticing. They can chop it up into bits and pieces and you will not even be aware of it. That is the chitta. So the chitta has nothing to do with the body. That is the third fetter. I mean, if it's deep enough, I mean, you can enter the stream. Meaning entering the stream, that means, now I'm safe. You will know, now I'm safe. I cannot go to hell anymore. I will have only 7 more lives. And the interesting thing about, entering the stream is that you will see, I mean, if you intend on practicing on, you will see what your next work is. You clearly see it. You can clearly see it in front of you. You instantly start to realize greed and anger much better, much more vivid than you did it before. That's my work. Okay. Then you cut down on the fetters of greed and hate until you have only 50% of them left. That is normally called, Sakadagami, a once return. He comes only back one more life until he finishes his job. And the next fetter, once the fetter of greed and hate is gone, I mean, he will not come back into any kind of realms with form. I mean, he will come back to the pure abodes. These are 5 realms, the 5 realms of the Anagami. It starts with the fetter of form. Then his, what is the next? Formless, yeah. Then he's attached to formless states. And then he's attached to conceit. No, it's conceit, and then it's it's ego, and then restlessness, and the last one is avijja. And that is the end. Once he got rid of the fetter of avijja, he's finished. All the work is done. But until the work is not yet done, we still have to practice. Practice very hard. I mean, set your goal right. Right? And if you don't set your goal right, ask your consequences. Ask yourself, what are the consequences? I mean, if I go on like this, dilly-dally in this way, do this and do that, a little bit of practice, a little bit of tambun, where do I end up? I mean, according to the karma, you will end up you will attain good karma. So that might push you to heaven for a while. And then when you're in heaven, when you fall off heaven, where do you land? In hell, of course. Where else can you land? If you spend all your money that you have saved up for your vacation, I mean, where do you end up? I mean, back in the working world, back in the working hell. Because you have to earn some more money to get on your next vacation. It's just the same thing. So, I mean, the normal person, or the worldling, just goes up and down, just like in a roller coaster. We can't wait until we get up, just to get down. I mean, the fun really starts when we get down. I mean, getting up is really hard work. Earning money is a really tough job. And once we have it, we can spend it, and it's instantly gone. We have the fun, it lasts, and then it's gone. And then we have to work for it again. So, I mean, how can we not end up in hell? I mean, we have been to hell. Think about this, I mean, picture it, the roller coaster. At the moment, and how difficult it is to get up. Look at your daily practice, how difficult it is. Each step, that we take, how difficult it is. You want to lose that? You really want to go down again? Ask yourself this. You have to motivate. I can't motivate you. You have to use your own way, of motivation. For me, it was always, when I got bored or when I got some hindrances that I couldn't overcome, I always asked me, you want to be born again? You want to have this kind of life again? And the answer instantly came up. No way. So, you're not there yet, so what are you going to do? Practice. And then I went instantly back to practice. Because I knew I wasn't there. So what else can I do? I don't want to be reborn. All what I can do is put most effort, my maximum effort in the practice. And I was serious. I didn't look left or right, when I walked down the streets of Hamburg, and I didn't look left or right. I just was, 1 meter ahead of me, didn't even notice, the people walking by, but not colliding with them, not running into others. Because I was so concentrated in my sati. I wasn't interested. I even knew when I was going to read some of the signs on a bakery. I said, why are you reading that? And then I went back to my Buddha. I went back to my breath. And that really makes the difference. Why do I look at this tree? Why do I look at this? Why do I look at this? No, just be, just be with your Buddha, just be with your breath, or just be with the object of meditation. All the satisfaction you're looking for is there. How can it be otherwise? The chitta in itself, when once the chitta is quiet, it is satisfied. And then you notice, how disastrous these thoughts and these memories are. They always pull you out of this quietude, of this stillness, of this peacefulness, or happiness. How can you not notice it? But first of all, of course, you have to experience the fruits of samadhi. That's the first thing. If you don't have these fruits of samadhi, we might not even make it. The Lord Buddha said, if there wouldn't be any fruits, if there wouldn't be any higher attainments than the fun or the the beautiful in the world, nobody would go this path. So if you don't know it, for ourselves, if you don't put enough effort in, to experience the fruit of our practice, we wouldn't know. And then we easily become disheartened, and the kilesas dishearten us, and say, this practice doesn't work for me, no? Go, finished. Go back into the next, go back to hell and go back to heaven and all the other realms. If you decide to finish it off. To finish your practice and go the way of the kilesas is always in this roller coaster. Don't think you're exempt. Don't think, you're special, that you can't do it or you will fail. Don't think like this. A thought is just a thought. Of course, the more often you think the same thought, the more you believe it. The more rigid it becomes. That's the same thing that holds the same thing for our views and opinions. That's why we have to cut down on our views and opinions, and have to cut down on our thoughts. Then everything that takes up a form from our thoughts and memories, will also disappear. If you think this person is not good, or is not friendly towards us, if you think that every day, this becomes a rigid view. But the moment we say, okay, I don't know, this view will get less and less and less. Becomes softer and softer until it disappears. And then the next view comes up. That's how we can work with it. These things are only made, the more thoughts we have about the same thing, the more solid it becomes. Now think about the people who have always for 30, 40 years the same thought. It's so rigid, you can't even if you use a cannonball, you can't even destroy it. Because it's so rigid.
So make up your mind. You need to do it. Whatever you put your mind on, do it. With the utmost determination, with the utmost effort. And the less you do it, the less determination and effort you put into practice, the less you will progress. The more you put into, the more you will progress. Staying for 3 weeks, will not change a lot. Staying for 3 months starts to change things. Staying for 3 years and practicing changes a lot. A lot can change within 3 years. If you constantly, every day, wake up, and do our practice and then fall asleep. And then wake up, do our practice and fall asleep. A lot can change. The whole world can collapse around us. Just within 3 years. It's up to us to make that decision. So, and with this I end the talk. Ja, jedes Mal ist er für jemand anders gedacht. You understand what I said? Yeah? Yeah. Don't find excuses you can't do it. And next time you stay 3 months. No, if you really want to see some changes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's more difficult here. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Of course they want to have you back. Sometimes there are reasons. For instance, when your mother is alone. That's a reason. But after that, there's no reason anymore. Ask yourself, okay, yes, I do this, I need to do this, I need to do that, and in my next life I need to do this and need to do that. There's no end to it. That is something that you really have to understand. The Lord Buddha said, leave your wife and children behind. Leave the world behind. That is, of course, for bhikkhus. You have nothing to do with this kind of life anymore. Completely pull yourself out of this life and just do the practice. And that's why, at the time of the Lord Buddha, so many arahants came. They really pulled themselves. They left their wives, He himself was the first. He left his, think about a newborn baby, think about, a Westerner, who leaves his wife, and wants to join the order with a newborn baby. The whole world, the whole Western world will criticize him and think that he is selfish. I remember even, because we are Christians, I remember even one thing, what Jesus said to, one of his disciples wanted to bury his father. He said, let the dead bury the dead and the living come with me. Isn't that strong enough? And the same, the Lungta was the same. You want to go to see to the cremation of your father or the ceremony because he's dead? You can go, but don't need to come back here. Because here is the place for practice. We pull ourselves out of the world and we are not interested into this world. The longer you do it, the more you get results. It's extreme, and I sometimes mention it's extremely important the moment we come here into the monastery. Let the past and the future be gone. The more you don't project into the future and you don't remember the past, let the life of a layperson, just leave you behind and just concentrate on now. That's where you make extremely fast progress. Because all our thoughts, what are our thoughts anyway? They are all of the future, what we can do, what we can reach in the future. If I'm going to practice like this, I can reach it. That's useless thought.
Just doing the practice, is that what gets results? Thinking about the future and thinking about, maybe I should go back, maybe I should go to this place because, in the past, my practice has been. The past is past, it has gone, and nothing will return. Nothing. There are no two moments in our life that are the same. There are no two experiences that are the same. We believe that they are the same because they are similar. Once we investigated all our feelings, all our experience and memories that come with these feelings, we will see they are all the same. They are very similar to each other. But this we like and this we don't like. The feeling itself, investigate it. No? It comes through our views and opinion, that this was good and this was bad. Just don't even think that you are good or bad. Just see what is coming up. You have always this point of reference. I really stress it, to have it during the whole day. A point of reference where you can see where you deviate from your meditation. Be it the Buddha or be it the breath. The moment you go off the breath, you will see it. The moment you go off the Buddha, you will see it. Or when it's the object of investigation, you will see it. If you don't have this point of reference, you will swim around. You will think about in the future and you will think about the past and you won't even notice it. You will do this and you will do that and you all think it's practice. You won't notice it. When I was in the West, the common teaching, just look what is coming into your mind. Just observe what is coming into mind. You can observe what is coming into your mind until the end of your day and nothing will change. It's still coming in because you don't investigate what is the cause why it comes in. If you understand what the cause is, then you can uproot it. If you look at all the grass that is growing, that's nice, I see that. It's growing and it's growing and it's growing, and you see it, you observe it. Then some weeds are growing, you see it and you observe it, But if you want to get rid of it, you have to cut it down, until you see the roots of it and then uproot it. And then this grass will never grow again, or this weed will never grow again. So seeing and observing, doesn't do anything. That's what we normally do, and we don't have a point of reference. That's why we constantly get distracted. And they are so nice, The kilesas, they have such a honey voice, it just flows in, yes, you're a good boy, you've done enough practice, They clap on your shoulders and say, you're good. You practiced at least 2 hours today. That was nice. 3 hours today. And that means something must be wrong. If the kilesas clap us on our shoulder and say the practice was good, something must be wrong. Certainly was not infringing. If you practice like that, we don't infringe the kilesas, we don't bring them out, or we don't cut them down, or we don't lessen them. If they clap on our shoulders, if they cheer us up, yes, you're good. You're a good meditator. That's just the way of the kilesas. The Dhamma always, the Dhamma is always there. And says, okay, now I deviated from my meditation object, now I should go back to my meditation object. That's the Dhamma. Dhamma never praises us. That's the way of the kilesas. Praise is one of the things that makes the world, turn around, spin around. Praise and blame, and then riches and poorness. What are the other ones? Fame. Okay, whatever. 8. There are 8. Huh?
Fame and obscurity.
Yeah. Fame and obscurity. The last couple. Okay, so whatever. Okay, understood? When are you coming back from Hong Kong? When? So, 21st you're here. 3 months. It's nice time also. It's not too hot and it's not too cold.
I am sorry, but I'm free
feed yourself a little bit when you're back in Bangkok. Huh?
When are you ready?
In a week.
Wednesday, if I finish what I'm something I should be there early because my sister moved to trip to Saturday, so I should be.
Oh, okay. So then this talk was just in time.
Tuesday the earliest, Wednesday the latest.
Okay. Fine.
I like it. I think foreigners, you're very specific. That's the thing. I know that this place practice a lot. I know that. But when you say, okay, 14 hours, something that I know, and I'm a pretty good achiever. Okay, if it steps down like that, or like they said, throughout the night, then I know that. Or else, this is pretty. I don't know what it's good.
That's why I make these things. If in the start, when you start, you determine no less than 8 hours. When after 1 month, no less than 10 hours. After 3 months, no less than 12 hours. Yeah, no, it's okay. We have to, increase that. It's just like sitting. Okay, 2 hours sitting, And the next time 2.5 hours sitting. The next time 3 hours sitting, yeah. Just increase it step by step. If you tell yourself, some people do that. They want to fail. So they say, I'm doing 16 hours, and then they work for 1 week and they can't do the 16 hours. Oh, I'm a disaster. It's no use practicing. And then they go. So set the steps. Yeah.
Because I won't be here for long. If it and guide, very clear.
Yeah.
Each to its own. Very clear. Set date. After that, when you investigate, investigate, and I consider
What? Pichana.
Okay, the question is, the topic,
Yeah.
You think ahead that, for example, you're going to think about death, for example. Think about it, or does it come in?
No. You think about it. If it comes up by itself, then take it.
Okay.
If it doesn't, think about it. Lungta always, Lungta says, just make a super tour. Just like you go on a tour. So start with the hair of the head, and then go outside of the body, then go inside of the body. And that object that interests you the most, that you take. Because there has to be some interest. If you say, now today, just like Western, yesterday I did my nails, today I will do my teeth, that's not going to work out. Go through the whole body until, today I want to see what the eye is. Okay, then today take the eye. And tomorrow take something else. It really doesn't matter what object we take. But if nothing by itself comes up, then just look for it.
So even if the sit and the guy are totally separate, because the asutta, different level of palm, moon, whatever, even if the sit and the guy are totally separate, the subject not necessarily has to be this. It can be death, it can be something like that, right?
It's all. Even death is related to this body.
Yes.
What dies is the body, not the chitta.
Yes. That's very clear. That's perfectly 100%.
Yeah. So, it's just like, your new Audi, will die, and you buy another one. Huh? But because you're attached to this Audi, that's why you buy another one. So you have to see the attachment. That's why we investigate the body. We're afraid of death, that's why we can take death, Everybody has to die. Or we can take illness. That's much better, really be terminal ill, and you have 3 years to live, but with lots of pain and lots of pain. How are you going to manage it? Even if the chitta and the it's very clear that the chitta is not the body. It's still really difficult. That's why we need, to do this investigation of the body, because we don't see yet our attachment. And the moment you do the investigation of the body, you will see suddenly this attachment to the body. And especially you will see it if you do 10, 12 hours of practice a day. See, the only thing, you're concerned outside of your practice is this body, giving something to drink, help it relieving itself, putting it to sleep and so on. Oh, it's cold, or it's hot. Investigate, if you're freezing, investigate what is freezing. The body doesn't care. It takes that temperature. If you're in the West and it's just -1, not with it 18 degrees, or even 22 or 23. I feel very cold when it's 24 degrees only. I think, it's freezing cold, and then look, 24, 24 is very hot in the West. Huh? So then, you just sit down, okay, what is cold? What is cold? What is the feeling of cold? Why am I so afraid of cold? The more blankets you put on, you don't get warmer. Little bit.
No, it's true. It's the cold. The more you put on yourself, and the less you are sensitive after. But the more you are sensitive.
Yes. So investigate cold. I said investigate everything that you do. When you take a shower, investigate, the feeling, of, the water running down your body. If it's warm water, it looks like it feels nice. But I don't say investigate nice or not nice, cold or not cold. Just investigate the feeling. With any kind of touch, be it the water or be it a human being, it's not our feeling that comes up, it's all our whole view of what this is, It's despicable, or it is loathsome, or it is admirable, or it is, it is desirable. That comes up, we don't even see the feeling. That's why I say, investigate. When the cold water runs over your body, or if it's warm water, what's the difference? The feeling itself. It's the same thing, for your anger. Please, accept the anger and feel it. You don't see the anger yet because you haven't driven the kilesas yet into a corner. They will show very clearly. You get really irritated. You really get annoyed about the slightest things. That's where anger comes up. The kilesas don't want, as long as you play in their field. In their field, that means the roller coaster. As long as you play on their roller coaster of life, they won't bother you. The moment you step out, and you investigate something that is counterproductive to them, they will step out, and pierce you. In the beginning, just small, and then piercing even stronger. So that's called Dukkha Vedana. The Lord Buddha had, a perfect example, for training a monk or for training somebody, a practitioner. He compared it, to training a war elephant for the king. At first, you catch that white elephant, and then you tie it really tight to a pole, so that it cannot break loose. After days or weeks or months, this elephant has to become still, because it cannot run away anymore. That's why I said we always need to have that point of reference. That is our pole, during the whole day. So, the moment it knows, it cannot run away anymore in freedom, and then the moment he forgets his freedom because that's nice sleep, why should I run around? Then he's going to be trained. How is he going to be trained? Soldiers come, with a spear, and slowly pierce him. And the elephant, always gets hit, if he moves. And then they spears deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, so that, even when it's close to his death, he will not move. This example, the Lord Buddha gave for us, or this similar, to compare it with a practitioner. A really determined practitioner. That's, this piercing of the kilesas that's what we feel. And the deeper it is, we can take it, because, we can accept it. That's the training of a practitioner. No matter if he's a layperson or a monk. And then with this investigation, or with the Dhuttangas, what is it, austere practices, that's where we really get the kilesas going. They don't like it. Eating once a day, they don't like it. They will find all reasons, why we cannot do it. The cold, we cannot, they don't like it. So, that's why we have to investigate it. You understand? Second talk already. So now I really want to close. Yeah? 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 When? Now? Which ladies?
She said she has 3 choices.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Okay. But then when you come back, really do some serious practice.
I'll do it back there.
No. You cannot.
Oh, trust me. It's very good there because sometimes I have nothing to bother me at all because I am totally...
I know. I've been there. So, I will go and visit you. Yeah? And then I will see, how your practice deteriorated. You don't notice it.
I understand it much more. And even though I'm more lucky, it's tuk. I understand that now. It's really tuk. It's
okay.
A big burden for me to
Yes.
even walk.
And that's why we can learn.
But
We can learn, with anicca, anatta, dukkha.
Yes, so I understand that much. I understand it.
And that's why you have to come here.
But now that I understand it, even though I'm there.
Yeah, okay. But then see the dukkha when you go shopping. See the dukkha when you go out. See the dukkha. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter for what. See the dukkha. But you can also see, the happiness if you want to be generous. Then see the happiness. But, don't go out. Just stay. Why do I make myself this to eat? Because I'm hungry. I could stay here, The feeling of hunger is of course not pleasant. The feeling of cold is of course not pleasant. But if we don't investigate the feeling itself, we will never understand why it comes. The reason for it. We cannot uproot it. So, that means, we have to embrace it. Just like we have to embrace anger, we have to embrace greed without following it. And then feel it, it really, it goes through our throat, it might kill us, the kilesas tell us, it will kill us if you don't follow me. And you say, okay, I die, it's better.
Like hunger.
Yeah.
I've not skipped, I have before, but, days at a time. Sometimes I don't really feel hunger or not hunger, but it's just like it's automatic. That's all. I probably should eat. I'm so skinny. I've lost so much weight, things like that. So,
yes.
Or I should try.
That's exactly what you have to investigate. You really should eat or not. The body instantly tells you. The more. Yeah? The chitta and the body are sort of what is it called? Symbiosis? Symbiotic. They live, without the chitta, if it doesn't take care of the body, so the chitta knows everything what is necessary and not necessary. And we all in the world, we do all the unnecessary things and we don't do the necessary things. Because somebody tells us you have to do it like this, another person tells us you have to do it like that. So the common, we don't even know what the body needs. That's why we have to investigate it, and then you will feel what the body needs. Huh? Today, I want to have salty food. Today I want to have spicy food. The body tells you what it needs. Huh? It needs this, it needs that, for good digestion. But we don't know. Still, compare, you still don't know. You just go, you go to your thinking and thinking this is good, or this might be good, and this might be good. That is, we really have to investigate. If I take this food, what is the effect on the body? If I take that food, what is the effect on the body? And if you do that for years, you will only need Yeah, you will only eat what is really good for the body. And what is good for your body is not good for his body. Huh? You really do have to understand that. So you really have to find in your reflection, daily reflection, when you do the food. I mean, really. See. And then, I even remember, what I ate yesterday and how was my, how was my day? Was I feeling sick? Was I feeling tired? Maybe I should eat some more of this, maybe I should eat some more of that. And then try it out, Okay, I eat more of this. Next day, you look, how was the effect of this kind of food? How was the effect of that kind of food? Is it really that? No? So that you understand your body and then you just eat what the body needs, to re-energize. I mean, it needs very little. You see me fasting. I'm hungry. I'm really hungry now. So put some effort, you have to take care of it.